Pranam, Namaste, Jai Gurudev everybody. Good evening. How is everybody? All well? Welcome to Sunday's Rishi Chintan. I'm Mayura Patel from Gayatri Parivar, Croydon. Like every week, we are going to be doing one page of Rishi Chintan. And before we start, we are going to chant the Gayatri Mantra. So wherever you are, we can sit up and we chant one Gayatri Mantra, joining your hands, eyes closed. Take a nice deep breath in. And out. And we say one Gayatri Mantra followed by Guru Vandana. Bhurbhuvah swaha tatsavituurvarenyam bhargo devasya dhimahi धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्. गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. A very good evening to you all again. Rishi Chintan. From the Rishi Chintan book, published by Gayatri Parivar, Shanti Kunj, Haridwar. This session is in Gujarati. The reading is going to be in Gujarati. I'm going to be speaking English and a little bit of Hindi too, because we have so many viewers and some understand English more, some understand Gujarati more, and some understand Hindi more. So I will try my best. Okay? તો આજનો આપણો ટોપિક છે સાચો ધર્માત્મા કોણ? ધર્માત્મામાંના जो धर्म वाली आत्मा होती है, धर्मात्मा, धर्म का काम करते हैं, धर्म में ओतप्रोत रहते हैं, धर्मात्मा, जो उपासना साधना और आराधना करते हैं, वो धर्मात्मा. तो આજનો ટોપિક છે સાચો ધર્માત્મા કોણ? સાચા આધ્યાત્મિક મનુષ્યના હૃદયમાં પ્રેમ, ઈમાનદારી, સત્યપરાયણતા, ઉદારતા, દયા, શ્રદ્ધા, ભક્તિ અને ઉત્સાહનો ભાવ જાગે છે. Param Puja Gurudev is saying that a real soul seeker, the one who is following the path of dharma, practicing spiritual values, one who follows the righteous path in their life, how do we recognize that person? We can recognize that person when we see all these qualities in that person. What are those qualities? Prem, love, imandari, being truthful, satyaparayanta, following the right path, udarta, very giving, daya, the one who has compassion, Shraddha, faith, Bhakti, devotion, અને ઉત્સાહનો ભાવ જાગે છે, is always feeling very energized, positive. આ બધા આત્માના સ્વાભાવિક ગુણ છે. These are the natural qualities of soul. એ જ મનુષ્યની સ્થાયી શક્તિઓ છે. These are the inbuilt qualities of a soul given by the divine. આપણો સમગ્ર જીવન એ ગુણોના રંગે રંગાઈ ના જાય ત્યાં સુધી એમને જીવનમાં ઉતારવાનો પ્રયત્ન કરતા રહેવું જોઈએ. If we are not too engrossed in the material life, then we should try and awaken these qualities. They lie dormant within us. We should try and practice them more and more in our life consciously. જે મનુષ્યમાં આ બધા ગુણો મૌજૂદ છે તે જ સાચો આધ્યાત્મિક માણસ છે. The one who has these qualities in him or her, that person is the one who is living a life of spiritual values, is following a right path, is a Dharmatma. આ સત્યના આધારે જ તે પરમાત્માને પ્રાપ્ત કરી શકે છે. Only by having these qualities and following them, practicing them in life, is when that person can get close to God. Very beautiful. Let us go through those qualities again. What are the qualities mentioned here? Prem, love. Imandari, being faithful. Satyaparayanta, following a right path. Udarta, the one who is giving. Daya, the one who has compassion in their heart for others. Shraddha, faith. Bhakti, devotion. અને ઉત્સાહનો ભાવ જાગે છે. The one who feels energized. The one who has positive thoughts in their mind. When we have these qualities, that is when we go near God. That is when we become the true beneficiary of God's love and blessings. ઈશ્વર ભક્તિનો માર્ગ કોઈ ધર્મ વિશેષ યા કોઈ કર્મકાંડ પૂરતો સીમિત નથી. તે તો આત્માની ગંભીરતામાં વિદ્યમાન છે. ઈશ્વર ભક્તિનો માર્ગ, the way to God, કોઈ ધર્મ વિશેષ યા કોઈ કર્મકાંડ પૂરતો સીમિત નથી. It is not limited to one particular faith or religion or only just rituals. એ તો આત્માની ગંભીરતામાં વિદ્યમાન છે. It is totally embedded in our soul. That is why we say that our soul needs to progress. When we are attached in the material world, our soul cannot progress. The progress only comes when we think of our deeper embedded qualities, the natural qualities of soul. માત્ર ઈશ્વર એવું રટણ કરનારા ધર્માત્મા હોતા નથી. The one who is always only just chanting God, God, God and God's name, they are not called Dharmatma. This reminds me of one example that I would like to share with you. The one who only chants and does rituals, does malas, does all the other godly activities. Only by doing activities, only by doing rituals, one doesn't become a Dharmatma. When Param Pujya Gurudev was in the Himalayas for his special journey, for which he's been brought to earth, and he was brought to earth, and he was following his own Gurudev's guidance, and he was in the Himalayas, and he could see all the sadhu souls that had previously left their physical bodies, and they were there in Himalayas in their astral forms, in their astral body. And you know what? Param Pujya Gurudev saw two sadhus fighting with each other, even in their astral bodies. Now these are supposed to be the Siddha souls, the sadhus, who have already given up their physical forms and are in the Himalayas in their astral forms. Now imagine, even at that level, even after being sadhu and even after attaining so many siddhis, they were still quarreling with each other in their astral form. They cannot be called Dharmatma. If you were with me on Thursday when I did the Akhand Jyoti session in English, this is what the discussion was about. That by doing sadhana, by doing chanting, by doing karmakand, by doing all the religious ceremonies, you name it, of any faith, not only just Hindu faith, any faith, one can attain a siddhi. Siddhi mana powers. So one can attain siddhi. They can probably read other people's mind. They can see things in future like astrologers do. They become psychic because their psychic power gets awakened. They can be clairvoyants. They can be tarot card readers. You know, this is all siddhi. But that doesn't mean that they are Dharmatma. Dharmatma is the one who has got all these qualities, and they are practicing these qualities in their life. They have totally absorbed them. He or she is a true Dharmatma. So here it is said, માત્ર ઈશ્વર એવું રટણ કરનારા ધર્માત્મા. જે મનુષ્ય પરમાત્માના આદેશ પ્રમાણે અથવા એમણે બતાવેલા માર્ગ પર ચાલે છે તે જ માણસ ધર્માત્મા હોય છે. Only when we follow the path of God, the one who is an embodiment of all these values, when we become like God, when we can say that we are following God's path when we become like God. I can't be sitting here and do the chanting, and then in my interactions, I don't have right behaviors. Then I cannot say that I'm following God's path. To follow God's path, Param Puja Gurudev is saying, you need to be an embodiment of all these values. જે મનુષ્ય પરમાત્માના આદેશ પ્રમાણે અથવા એમણે બતાવેલા માર્ગ પર ચાલે છે તે જ માણસ ધર્માત્મા છે. ધન્ય છે એ માણસો કે જેઓ પરમાત્માનો અવાજ સાંભળે છે અને એ પ્રમાણે આચરણ કરે છે. Blessed are those souls who can hear the inner voice. Blessed are those souls who can communicate with the higher authorities, with their higher self, with God in their meditation. Because when you meditate, then I always say this in the meditation sessions, that when we meditate, God always speaks to us in the silence of our heart. If you regularly meditate, you can experience that. When you become totally engrossed and you are sitting in meditation with an empty mind, letting go of all the physical world, worldly thoughts, and you just focus and channel your energy to connect with your higher self and the divine. In that meditation, the divine comes and speaks to us in the silence of our heart. So when we hear that inner voice, those are the blessed souls. જે આત્મા આ સુંદર જીવનમાં પરદર્પણ કરે છે એના માટે અંતર્જ્ઞાનના દરવાજા ખુલી જાય છે. The one who totally devotes and dedicates themselves to Lord, for them all the doors of divinity open. When the doors of divinity open, what does that mean? All these natural qualities of soul come within us and they reside within us and they stay there, they stay within us. That is what we call opening of the doors of the divinity. શુદ્ધ હૃદયવાળા મનુષ્યોને પરમાત્માના દર્શન થાય છે. The one who has pure heart, only those people can feel the presence of God. Only those people can have the sight of God's darshan in their being. So the question then arises, what is purity? What is the level of purity? The last sentence is, આ દર્શનમાં જે આનંદ છે તેનું વર્ણન કોણ કરી શકે? When you are that close to God and when you can feel the God's presence within you, when you can have that darshan, the vision of God in your heart, in your mind. That is total bliss. That is a state of total bliss. So it is very important here. Param Pujya Gurudev says, શુદ્ધ હૃદયવાળા મનુષ્યને જ પરમાત્માના દર્શન થાય છે. શુદ્ધ હૃદય. So what is purity? What is purity? In the Akhand Jyoti session, I mentioned that we should try and align our thoughts, words, and actions. They should be in one line. When our thoughts, words, and actions are in one line, that is the first form of purity. That is the best form of purity. What you see is what you get. That is a saying in English. What you see is what you get, which means what you see of me is what you get. When we see somebody and what they are and is what we get, it means that that person is not a two-faced person. That is purity. What you see is what you get from me. And when I'm the same person inside out, that is purity. When our thoughts, words, and actions are all aligned, that is purity, which means that we have to stop the fake behaviors. That is purity. When our thoughts, words, and actions are not aligned, there is a total imbalance in our consciousness. We are thinking one thing, we are saying one thing, we are doing another thing. When we try to unnecessarily please other people, that is a fake behavior. So what is purity in thoughts? Purity in thoughts means that we have only pious thoughts in our mind. We have only right thoughts in our mind. What are the right thoughts? Not to harm other people. Not to hurt somebody with a bad intention. Just a few examples. What is purity in thought? Love, peace, good knowledge, reading good, doing good, always having the best intention in our every action is purity of thought. I will repeat. Having the best intention, only the best intention of every action that we perform is purity of thought. If our intentions are not right, there cannot be purity in thought. Purity in words. Saying the right, saying the truth. Truth can be very bitter, it can hurt. It can hurt us, it can hurt other people also. But truth is very important, to stay to the truth. not to hide our actions, not to lie, not to cheat, not to do things behind anyone's back. This is all the path of truth. So that is purity in our words and actions. So everything starts from here, from the faculty of thoughts. If our intentions are pure, if our intentions are good, then everything falls in the right place, on the right path. But if our intentions are not good, then it will only be a temporary happiness, but the end result will not be good because the intention was not good. To wrap up, I just want to share one more thing that I had read in a very small paragraph. In one of our other publication. My father had a very, very good habit of reading, and so did my mother. And every time he read something nice, he will stick a paper like this in the book, and he will leave it for me. And he will say, that is for you to read. Make sure you read. And that is how I got into the habit of reading. And I opened the book once and I was reading that paragraph that my father had marked and said, read this paragraph. And what did that paragraph say? It was one of our Gayatri Parivar publication. Yuk Shakti Gayatri is the name of the publication in Gujarati. And in that paragraph, it was very interesting. A very short but a very powerful message, which I have shared in the classes before, but I'm just repeating it here. Two people left their physical bodies and went to God. And it was a day of the judgment. And they both had performed the same karma. What was the karma? They both had killed a tiger. One was a hunter and one was just an ordinary man. But they both had performed the same karma. They both had killed the tiger. But they both were given different punishment for their karma. The hunter's punishment was slightly stricter than the ordinary man. So he complained and said, we both have performed the same karmas. Why are we getting different punishment for it? And the God said, you killed the tiger intentionally. But he killed the tiger to save the life of others and to save his life. He didn't want to kill the tiger, but he had no choice. So the karma was same. They both had killed the tiger, but the outcome was different. You know, this says everything, that every karma that we perform in our life, this is what we need to be careful of, our intention. Sometimes we have to say things, but our intention should be right. Sometimes we have to do things, but our intention should be right. Our intention should never ever be to hurt anyone or to take a revenge or in any other negative form. And that is how the Chitragupt sitting within us decides the result of our actions. That is how we are judged by the divine when we leave our physical body. We say when we go from here, we take our karmas with us. And how are our karmas judged? So if you remember, in the last Sunday, we talked, or 2 Sundays ago, we talked about just focus on doing the karma. Don't worry about the fruit of the karma. Just make sure that we perform good karmas, keep our intentions right. And that is being a true Dharmatma. I hope you enjoyed today's session. We all are sailing in the same boat to become a Dharmatma. I hope you like it. I hope you are keeping yourself safe. I know a lot of people are feeling very fed up in lockdown. And it's very easy to say, but just try to keep busy, stay positive, read, exercise, listen to the music. Do at least one thing in a day that you love doing, whether it is dancing, singing, reading, writing, painting, going for a walk, cooking, whatever. Do at least one thing in a day that you love doing, and that will help you. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining here. Thank you so much, everybody who watched the videos. I hope that you are liking them. I hope that it is making a difference. If there is anything else that you would like me to cover in these sessions, please feel free to write to me. You can write to me on Instant Messenger, or you can send me a WhatsApp message. I'll be happy to cover it for you. Stay well, stay blessed, stay calm, be happy, keep smiling. And thank you again, everybody who is here joining me and everybody who watched these videos. Stay safe. Om Shanti.